Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series.
This is the Inside the Sox podcast, and now here's your host, Kevin Baver.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Inside the Sox podcast presented by Grandstand Productions. As always, I'm Kevin Baver. Alongside of me, my boy Rob Anglin. How are you, Rob?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm pushing through. Thanksgiving week is always just kind of chaos and preparation. And I wish we were getting more news. We do have some news. We're going to go into it. I have the rundown in front of me. We have some news. First off, I just want to kind of give everybody kudos for being able to put this podcast together and be able to put the episodes that we're putting out in such a time in the off season where we're really searching for details, right? We're going down the speculation rabbit holes. We're figuring out, who's being tenured, who's being not tenured, who's coming, who could be, playing in Boston, who may not be playing in Boston. And it's a lot to digest. So the fact that we're able to kind of get these episodes out with very, I guess we'll say minimal action that's going on, is really, really impressive. So, Rob, you feeling good?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited. And there is some news that we're going to talk about very soon. But
we're going to talk about it.
It's very hard. But right now, it's a possibility that something is going to happen in the next coming days, but I'm very excited to see how it goes. I've been seeing a lot of it on Twitter. They're talking about Rafael Devers hopefully extending the Red Sox. At first, they were like at $200 million, offering him that, and that's kind of like an Austin Riley type deal, they said, which is not right for Rafi. But now we got news. John Heyman reported that they're bridging the gap, and now that they're around $240 million. So they're only off by $50 million now. So we're making progress.
We're making progress. The initial reports that were sent out it's a nice round number, right? 10 years, 300 mil, which we actually discussed, through this platform and through this podcast. We kind of spitballed the numbers, and we thought 300 for 10 years was probably all right. And now we're kind of below that. We're around the 240 mark. John Heyman did come out. I'm assuming he probably got it from somewhere in Devers camp. I'm assuming he probably got it. He's very reputable. When we're on this podcast and when we're talking about the news, we're trying to get it as accurate as possible. You see me looking down a lot because I'm literally thumbing through and trying to bleed out the excess fat of when it comes to Rafi. So 240. Is 240 going to be the magic number? I don't know. See, like we both did that. We both did like the kind of like head cock, like is 240 it? To me, and I've said it all along, stop lowballing these guys. Stop doing it. You have the money to spend. There's a fine line between patience and urgency, and Red Sox fans are really, really teetering with it, right? Like we want to be patient. We want to not spend unnecessarily, right? We want to make sure the money that we are spending, if we are going to spend, is going to be put in investments, not just in the short term, but in the long term. Rafael Devers at 240. Rob, talk to me a little bit more about it. How do you feel about it? Should we be patient? Should we be urgent? Should the urgency be more? I'm fumbling a little bit. Please help me out here. Help me dissect.
With the Red Sox, I feel like this situation is. I feel like it's gonna be settled. I really want this to be settled, especially before December, before the winter meetings. We want to at least get him locked up, because I don't want to see him going into free agency next season. I want him to be a Red Sox for the rest of his career. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm going to turn around. You see on
there
the back,
it is.
you see you got Rafi on the back.
There
so
he is.
Obviously, all
Rob's ready.
Boston fans love him, and we don't want him to go. And I feel a perfect number, like we said, $300 million for 10 years is perfect. $30 million a year.
Yeah.
Obviously, in my opinion, he's a guy who could be worth $32 to $33 million a year. But that's just me personally, because I honestly, from what he has done, I've said it numerous times since 2017, he's been amazing. He's been a solid spot in that Red Sox lineup. He hits for average. He hits for power. He drives and runs. He's been getting better on defense. Obviously, as he gets older, you would probably have to slot him over to like DH or first base. But I feel like Rafael Devers is a guy that you need to lock up. If you don't lock up him, it's the problem. It's a big problem to have. You don't want to lose a guy. Like, the Red Sox have issues a lot with keeping guys in certain positions. I'm going to be honest. We've seen third base. We had a rotating door at third base multiple times, rotating doors at second base, rotating doors in the outfield. We never had a solid spot. And Rafael Devers, if we lock him up, we'll have someone who is going to be locked down in that position, one less problem to worry about, and that's what I want as a Red Sox fan. I want to have confirmation. I want to have security for years to come, knowing that my favorite players are not going anywhere.
Yeah. Let's go back to 26 years old, right? An OPS 41 points above league average, right? This is not a slouch. This is not a guy. When we talk about risk and reward when it comes to players, is it? Yes, he is 26. He's been doing it since 2017. He has only improved. The numbers statistically, as we look at it, go up each and every year. I know he had an IL stint this past year. We talked about it. Before the All-Star break of this past year, he was in that conversation for MVP. Right. And that's a conversation that I feel like we're going to have for quite some time. Do you move him to first base later in his career? Do you move him to DH? That's the great thing. You have options, right? You have zero options if you don't get this done. Rafi wants it done by opening day. Can we get it done by opening day? Do we trust time to get it done by opening day? What are the numbers? I have a feeling that more and more numbers are going to come out as we get closer and closer to it. Are they as far apart as when it was initially reported? When it was initially reported, we were talking oceans apart, right? Of where the Boston front office with Heim and Rafael Devers camp, they were nowhere close. And now I feel like we're getting closer. And once again, the pessimist in me is a little worried, is a little frustrated, is a little. We can't have Xander Bogaerts Part 2.
Nope.
Rafael Devers was quoted this past week, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was quoted as saying that in talking with the Xander Bogaerts situation, family. He used the word family, not just friends. This is something that I'm sure Rafi is keeping an eye on, and we're going to pivot a little bit to Xander now. Xander and Rafi, I've said it before, if you do not lock up Xander, if you don't get Xander back as your fundamental shortstop for a good while, 6-7 years we're looking at, I'm baffled at what Rafi could potentially do if Xander is not in Boston. Xander Bogaerts recently this past week has been linked to, I'm just going to throw out because every day it's something new. We got the Philadelphia Phillies, we got the Seattle Mariners, the San Francisco Giants have now come into play. The Yankees were mentioned. I mean, this is getting absurd. Make some sense of it, man. I'm hurting. Where is Xander back? Are we getting Xander back? Rob.
It scares me a little bit. And before I do anything, I made a video on TikTok literally about it an hour ago. Yankee fans, you're not getting Xander Bogaerts. He's not cutting his curls. He's not cutting his beard. What is Xander Bogaerts?
Couldn't even imagine him clean shaven, right?
Can't.
Like couldn't even.
Even with like a
doesn't
lineup,
feel right.
I can't picture him without his curls.
I know.
I really feel like the Red Sox need to get this done. I mean, it scares me every kind. I'm really like I just keep thinking I think Philly is gonna make a push, and I'm really
I
scared.
think, yeah,
I really
Dombrowski.
want him. I want him
Yeah.
to stay in Boston because it's just like there's one thing that you need, and that's a leader in the clubhouse, and that is what Xander Bogaerts is. He
Mhm.
is the captain of this team. He doesn't have the C on his chest, but he is the
Yeah.
captain of this team. Everybody loves him in the dugout. He's a true leader inside that clubhouse. He brings everybody's spirits up. He plays amazing too. I mean, being a leader in the clubhouse, he steps up on the field, off the field, doesn't matter. He's loved in the community. He helps around the community. A guy like Brock Holt too, a couple years ago, he helped out in the
Yeah,
community.
yeah,
Fans loved
yep.
him, kind of like a clubhouse leader. But Xander Bogaerts is a superstar, and you can't let that go. He's a top 5 shortstop in baseball, arguably top
Yeah.
3, if not 2. And this free agent market, it's stacked with shortstops. And I know a lot of teams are looking for a shortstop.
Yeah.
Boston obviously has a hole at shortstop, but you can't just sit there, and the hole is because the one guy that you should have had locked up by the end of the season was not locked up. He was not locked up. He should have had the contract done. There should have been no talks about opting out of a contract, arbitration, nothing. X-Man should have stayed here. And the craziest thing is he should have been here. He should have been here since day one.
Yeah.
And even
It's
Rafael Devers called the Red Sox to keep Xander.
yeah.
So that's just like
Yeah.
you going back to what you said. I mean, they're brothers, and if you lose Xander Bogaerts, you lose Rafael Devers. You lose
I
them.
I sit here and it feels like deja vu a year later, right? Xander going into last year's off season. What's going to happen? Is there going to be extension talk? Same thing, opening day deadline, not really discussed through the season. I mean, we discussed it through the season, but I mean, there was no official reports of it. There was no numbers. There was nothing. I mean, we literally had nothing. And we're going to continue to go back to and circle back that here we are, deja vu again with Rafael Devers, um, saying all the right things, right? I mean, everything that he's saying just speaks to the class of both him and Xander, how much they love Boston, how much they want to be Red Sox, how much they rightfully so should be paid. Now, this is a business. Baseball is a business. We as fans we tend to lose sight of the business aspect of what happens with our favorite teams and being diehard Sox fans. It is a business, and I don't know why you would. I don't know if I want to use the term penny pinch or low ball or not get it done. It just baffles me from a business standpoint. You're running a business. Here's your product, right? You're the Boston Red Sox. You have the whole left side of your infield locked up. With not only that, probably arguably one of the best left sides of the infield in baseball and Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers, guys who have succeeded at the highest level of the game. Pay them. Pay them. This is a plead from Red Sox Nation. Pay them. Let's not go through another season with question marks around Rafael Devers. Let's bring Xander Bogaerts back. Let's get this done ASAP. The domino effect. Let's talk about this a little bit. On the rundown, I got Aaron Judge is in San Francisco, and everybody's like, okay, can we go through one episode without mentioning Aaron Judge? The reason why Aaron Judge in San Francisco and meeting with the front office of San Francisco Giants is he is the domino. He, to me, in this free agent class, even though it's loaded with shortstops, I mean, there's some pretty good outfielders out there. There's some pretty good starting pitching. We've seen a couple. The moves that have been made in free agency so far are guys that have been retained by their clubs. And I'm talking some of the better names, right? They've been retained by their clubs. It's funny that we're waiting on Aaron Judge to make a decision because I believe he sets the financial market. Right? Whatever Aaron Judge is able to reap out of San Francisco or the Dodgers or New York, if he gives Cashman the option to match, then I think the dominoes fall. Then I think it's Xander, Trey Turner, Correa, Nemo, Verlander, Bassett. I didn't say Brissett this time. Bassett. All these names, right? Rodon. All these names that we're talking about, are going to start. I really do believe that they're just going to start flying off the board. It's going to be like, okay, Aaron has set the market on what teams are willing to pay this offseason. Okay, let's go back to the players that we've been in contact with. So Aaron Judge being in San Francisco, Rob, what does that mean for Boston? What does Aaron Judge in San Francisco mean?
Well, one thing's for sure is the highest thing is it's going to be the Giants and the Yankees are going to be the two that go back and forth.
I agree.
I also seen a post on
Instagram.
They said a 7% chance of Judge coming to Boston, so there's a little hope. But I really think it's going to be between San Francisco and New York.
Yeah,
the Giants.
He's a Cali guy, right?
He's a Cali guy. I think he would love to play for his hometown team. Even the Dodgers, you can never count the Dodgers out.
Yeah, well, I think he'll meet with them. Yeah,
and they said they want to put, if this was the case scenario, they would move Mookie Betts to second base, where he started his career with the Red Sox, by the way. He had to move to right field. Obviously, Pedroia was there. But it's just like the Dodgers, never count out the Dodgers either. But I think with Aaron Judge going to San Francisco and meeting up, who knows what's going to happen. I think the big picture, a guy that the Red Sox should get, obviously Mitch Haniger is an option too, but a guy that I really saw a couple days ago, we all saw the biggest shocker that we thought they were going to retain him, Cody Bellinger being non-tendered. And this is going to be big. I think he's perfect for the Boston Red Sox. Now, before you guys go, whoa, Rob, what are you doing? What do you mean? Hear me out. Red Sox like going after guys who have had like on and off times. But they like going after guys that play great defense. We saw last year, Chaim Bloom traded Hunter Renfroe, who was their best hitter at the time last year, for Jackie Bradley to play defense. And the Red Sox outfield.
And Hunter wasn't bad at defense.
No, he wasn't bad at defense at all.
He's got a cannon. Yeah, so he's got a cannon.
It was just like the Red Sox need a guy who can play the outfield, especially playing right field is the hardest thing to do at Fenway Park. Right and left field are the toughest positions to play at Fenway. You got to think about it. Right center field, you got that triangle area. You got a big dip in right on that corner, then the green monster in left. A perfect guy for the Red Sox is Cody Bellinger. He plays an elite defense. You can put him at first base too if you really want to. He plays elite defense anywhere you put him. And he has potential to perform at MVP levels. We saw it in 2019 when he won the MVP over Christian Yelich. He's taken a big dip down, especially this year, hitting 210 with 19 homers, a 265 on base percentage, and a 389 slugging. That is atrocious numbers. Like Jackie Bradley Jr. is bad at hitting. I love JBJ, by the way. If you're watching this, please, I love you. I have chats with him all the time.
We love JBJ. We're going to throw our shots. We're going to throw our shots. At this
point that he's not the best hitter, but Cody Bellinger reminds me of a guy like JBJ who has high potential, because we've seen 2016 JBJ, what he did in that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He has potential to hit, obviously winning an MVP. Like I said, Bellinger winning an MVP. He could be a guy that the Red Sox could literally steal from the Dodgers. Imagine he comes back, has a crazy comeback here, and the Red Sox get an MVP for a low ball deal.
So Cody Bellinger, 210, 19 homers, 265 on base, 389 slugging. Nothing about that jumps off, right? And nothing off that stat line you look at and you go, yeah, this is a guy. But the fun part about Cody Bellinger is and I'm going to do this, and I hate doing this, but the quote unquote upside, right? The 2019 MVP season. We know that there's potential there. We got to fix his swing. Somewhere along the lines, Bellinger got a little lost. What happened, how it happened, I don't know. I don't follow enough of Dodger baseball to be able to sit here and speak for what happened out in LA with Cody. I think Cody isn't as big as a project as people are making him out to be. And I'm going to be honest with that. When I see numbers since his 2019 MVP season and obviously last year, and we've gone over him, but I don't think he's that big of a project that we're all making it out to be. He's Cody Bellinger, raw talent coming out of the minor leagues, Dodgers, doing what he's done in LA. Is it a small sample size? Was 2019 a flash in the pan? Even if it was, right? Let's say worst case scenario, they offer him a decent contract and he does come to Boston to play and fill the out hole need. Is he the safest? No. Is he the riskiest? I don't know. Like, I really don't. I don't know if I'm willing to put him on that plane of like, oh, this guy's going to be a project. Why are we dumping money into him? We're going to have to fix his swing, and he can't play right field, and he can't do this. Yeah, this is what you know. Where his right field swing? It fits Yankee Stadium. So if you really want Sox fans to him to go put on pinstripes and shave and clean up the hair and all of a sudden hit, 30 plus home runs next year, is that really what we want? No, no. Let's go out and make an offer to this guy. Nimmo's another name that's been thrown around. Let's talk about Nimmo a little bit. Rob, what do we have on Nimmo right now? As far as being a potential filler of that hole in the outfield.
The thing with Brandon Nimmo is he's a natural center fielder. So the thing that's going to happen here is you have Kike in center field. If you get Nimmo, do you put him? I keep messing with my mustache, guys. I'm sorry, fixing it. If you have Brandon Nimmo, sorry, I got off topic for a sec. If you have Brandon Nimmo, though, he's a center fielder and by nature. So he could play right field, but we see if the Red Sox are looking for someone who could play the outfield, I think Brandon Nimmo would fit perfectly. And you could still slot him in a corner outfield spot.
Yeah.
He plays we've seen the catch he had against the Padres in the playoffs, that crazy catch in game 2. It was insane. And there's guys that the Red Sox are really could go out there. A guy, even last year, I'm going to say a guy from last year as well. Another New York Met, former Met. There's also Mitch Haniger, that played for the Mariners. He's not a Met. But a Met I'm talking about is Michael Conforto, a guy who played right field for the Red Sox. A lot of guys are forgetting about Michael Conforto because he had that elbow surgery. The Boston Red Sox were on his top landing spots. One of his top landing spots was going to be Boston before that, obviously, shoulder surgery. And we even heard it before. The Red Sox were going to make an offer to him, obviously, and then the news came out that his shoulder happened. So maybe Chaim Bloom gets back on the phone, talks to Michael Conforto, see if he wants to come play for Boston, because that's another good option there. But I like Brandon Nimmo a lot as well. He hits for contact, and he plays a good defense as well. But there's a lot of outfielders on the market now, especially with all these non-tenders happening. It's like new outfielders get added in every other day.
Yes.
So it's fun to see. It's a fun pool, and the Red Sox should be in on a lot of these guys because we need the outfield help. We saw the defense in the outfield last year. It was atrocious. I mean, I don't know what it is with the lights at Fenway. I mean, I was at the games, and I can agree. You lose the ball.
You do lose the ball.
Fielder.
Yeah.
Arroyo's not a right fielder. We have Arroyo in right field.
Durant's not a center fielder.
Durant's not a center fielder. I was at that game, and it was very sad to watch.
Frenchy Cordero, what are you doing? Yeah.
Who is now a free agent. He's gone.
So he's gone. Yeah, RRP.
And then also still, I still hold on to the Hart, but I think Benny too is another option. I'm always going to throw Benny on there because he's a good contact hitter. I know he's not he played for the AL Central, so we'll see. But hopefully,
I feel like with Benny, and we saw it when he went to New York, is that the AL Central really it rejuvenated his career, but it also inflated a lot of his numbers. I know he was an all-star. I know he was batting 320, and his on base was phenomenal, and his slug and his OPS. Those are all great. The minute he stepped foot in New York, his batting average dropped nearly 30 points. He was back to being in a competitive division again, where any divisional game is a toss-up and it's going to be a brawl. But he did turn it around before he got hurt. I mean, I think his batting average raised another 9-10 points before he got hurt. It looked like he was starting to get comfortable in New York. If New York's option is to keep Benintendi, I'm not going to be heartbroken. I mean, yeah, seeing him in pinstripes is heartbreaking, but you said it. There's a lot of names. Conforto was linked to the Red Sox. Conforto's a very interesting case as well. Let's try to run some numbers on Conforto. New York Met. Not a flashy name, right? Mm-hmm. Conforto, like when we think about some of the names that have been thrown out in the last week, is this Conforto 274-16, or is that Nimmo? Okay, so Brandon Nimmo will go back to 274, 16 home runs, 367 on base percentage, 433 slugging. Thank you, Justin. Good numbers, man. 274, I like. 16, we're hovering around that. What is it? 900. What would that be? OPS. Not bad. Definitely fits a hole. my issue with Nimmo is A, how much is he going to cost?
Mm-hmm.
And B, is there someone, and it's not to his fault, but is there someone out there who could fill the need better? And the way I say better, I say it very skeptically, because I don't think that we would wake up tomorrow and if Nimmo was signed, I think we'd all be stoked, like absolutely excited. My issue is there more value for the buck? Who is going to be the most value for the buck? What do you think, Rob? Who out of these guys, Nimmo, Haniger, Cody, Conforto, who's the best bang for the dollar?
I looked at it, and I know I have my phone up, but I pulled up a list of free
ahead.
agents. It's not focused right now, but I'm going to read off a couple of outfielders that are free agents for the Reds. Not
Go
Red
for
Sox,
it.
that options for the Red Sox. I keep saying free agents for the Red Sox like they played. Jason Hayward just got cut by the Cubs. I don't want Jason Hayward. I'm gonna be honest.
No. I'm
Cody Bellinger, like I said,
I love him,
Michael
dude.
Michael
really
Brantley, a guy who could DH even.
Oh
too.
wow, okay.
That's a DH option. We have a hole at DH, missing JD, like I said. AJ
Love
Pollock's another
Brantley.
guy. Joey Gallo. I don't know. Tommy Pham, obviously.
Tony,
for us.
he played so well.
And then another guy that really sticks out to me that I think the Red Sox should make a move on. There's two guys here. Jurickson Profar, a guy who played the infield too. So if you need a guy who can play multiple positions, Jurickson Profar in the corner outfield or even center field somewhere. And then a guy that the Red Sox were on last year and he got DFA'd by the Mets, and that's Dominic Smith. We remember the Red Sox were going to trade for Dom Smith. We thought we were going to see a trade at the deadline. That's another option. There's so many. There's a lot. Raimel Tapia is a free agent now. Kevin Pillar, who played for us in 2020. Tim LeCastro, guys who play defense. JBJ, again, I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think
there's a lot of guys. There's a list of guys that like you could actually can play defense. But I think for the bang for your buck, I think the best option that the Red Sox can do is a guy like Mitch Haniger, guy who could play. He was really good with Seattle. He's a guy that he was their star outfielder before J-Rod and Kyle Lewis, who's now with the Diamondbacks. But there was guys that were stars there, and he's a guy that he can perform at an all-star level. You could put him in. He's the right fielder. He plays right field. Yeah. Cody Bellinger, same thing. He was right field before Mookie Betts got traded to the Dodgers. How to move the center. I think if you put, I am big on Cody Bellinger to the Red Sox. I don't know if it's just me.
I know you, Rob. You love it. You love.
But Cody. The only reason why I like this too is just imagine we're gonna get the whole. If we get him, we get the 2017 Dodger outfield. Verdugo, Bellinger.
Verdugo. Yes.
Verdugo can play left field. He looked good in left field with the Red Sox. Yeah. I mean, right field too. Verdugo looked really good in right field in 2020. So you have.
He can play either corner.
Either corner. I would prefer Bellinger and right just because his arm strength's a little bit better. But it's like you have that helps your defense a lot. Verdugo's gotten better on defense. Kike, you see, he's a star and he's amazing wherever you put him. And then Bellinger, we all know for his defense. We all know him if he gets his act together, he'll start hitting well. And if we get that, I think he's the pick. Him or definitely Mitch Haniger. I think are the two biggest options I want.
Mitch Haniger is very cool, a very interesting case study too, because Mitch Haniger is a all-star caliber kind of outfielder. 246, 11 home runs, 308 on-base percentage, 429 slugging. So he's hovering around that little sub 750 OPS with a 240 average, 11 home runs. I don't think he's on a downslope. I think, for Haniger, if you're filling the quarter outfield position for the Red Sox, that's definitely someone you probably want to look at, someone you probably want to dig into. And once again, I'm trying to find the value in the dollar. Now, I'm the biggest one who's like, screw the luxury tax, spend the money, do it. And now all of a sudden, I've grown to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more sensible, a little bit more. Yeah, we're going to have a top 5 payroll. We're the Boston Red Sox. We're not going to fall out of that top 5, top 10 range in payroll. So let's just hold on as tight as possible because the dominoes are going to fall and players are going to come. Bellinger, I know how much you love him, Rob. I do. And dude, I was very optimistic, man. I was listen, I didn't criticize him. I didn't tell him he's a work in progress. I didn't tell him he's that. I don't think he's as much as an issue as we're going to get into. when you talked about the outfield with Kike Verdugo and Cody, it got me very excited about a player, and I'm going to pivot here for a second. DH, Jose Abreu, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about clubhouse chemistry, right? Verdugo, Kike, and Cody in the outfield, having that Dodger outfield back together, that's something that would be really cool to look at in the dugout, which is what is even cooler, or the prospect of being even cooler to me, is Jose Abreu at DH.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jose Abreu, alongside with, this is contingent on bringing back Xander and also having team control of Xander, if not, Devers, if not locking him up long term. Those three guys in the dugout. I mean, how fun would that be? I mean, if you put Cody in right and you sign Jose Abreu at DH, you're talking about probably one of the most fun teams to watch in baseball. And I don't think I'm that far off on that. I really don't. I think the personalities alone would be incredible. Go ahead.
Here's one thing I'm going to say about the Red Sox is their lineup is always going to be a top 10 lineup in baseball. This year, they were a top 3 lineup in baseball. I looked at it was the Mets, I believe, the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Red Sox. Yankees were actually 4th. They had a lower lineup. The Red Sox offense has always been great. I mean, I hate to say this. I literally had a thought pop up in my head, and I'm kind of scared that I thought about this. If Judge walks, Stanton would play an outfield spot. Does that mean JD Martinez goes and fills that DH hole in New York?
I have no idea.
That's why
man.
I thought about that. I mean, JD's still,
I did think about that.
JD still here, obviously, but I think his time is done with the Red Sox. He did his part. But if the Yankees went out and said, you know what, let's go do what they did, and let's go get another guy. I noticed the Yankees do this all the time. They get guys who played for the Red Sox who are going on a downward spiral. Yeah. I mean, we saw Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yep.
And then another guy, I think Stephen Drew, they traded for
Stephen Drew. Yeah.
Yep. Some things, Johnny Damon.
Kevin Youkilis.
Kevin Youkilis, too. Kevin Youkilis now playing guys. So, but I think that's another thing that they could do. But let's get back to the Red Sox. I don't want to talk about This is a Red Sox podcast.
The Yankees are in shambles. We'll pause for a second. Yankees are in shambles. Okay, so however this offseason plays out, and I saw they requested the medical documents on DeGrom. Let's take a deep breath. All right, back to the Sox.
DeGrom would be nice in Boston, just saying.
I'm just saying. I know. And this is how I think we're going to segue, through the breakdown that we have. Kodai. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have numbers on Kodai. 3 years, 17 per year, which would bring grand total of 51. 17, and I think that's what we were hovering around, right? 15, right? 15 and 17 range. Yeah. I think 17 was on the higher end of what we were thinking about with Kodai. I think there is a very, very high chance that Kodai is a Boston Red Sox. I really do think that he fits the mold of what Chaim Bloom is looking for. We have been, of course, once again, we're only given the information that we're able to work with. A lot of reporters don't have the Red Sox bidding for one of these top tier starting pitchers aside from Kodai. And I'm only throwing Kodai in that top tier because he is an extremely he's an interesting case of someone who could come over to the US, play Major League Baseball, and I think have some pretty darn good success. If Kodai is in our rotation, you have to think he's a top end guy, right? Top end of the rotation guy.
Top 2.
Top 2, right? I mean, Nathan Eovaldi. We could talk about Nathan Eovaldi for a second. Is he going to come back on a multi-year deal?
Fingers crossed.
I know you're crossing your fingers, and I'm kind of doing the same. I would love Eovaldi back. I would love Kodai in Boston. All of a sudden, that starting pitch-up with Whitlock and Bello and Sale, and we're listen. This is an assumption that Sale is healthy and can remain healthy, is a really nice starting 5. right?
really
Like all
is.
of a sudden, it's a really nice starting five. I know that Sam Kennedy, who by the way is the ultimate. I'm gonna go on my little tangent. He is such an ultimate um yes man, right? Like he is an ultimate yes man. However, Sam Kennedy swears that him and Heim are doing everything to build a all-star bullpen, whatever that means. What does that mean? What arms are we looking at, Rob, that could possibly be in this? Oh, side note, before we move to the bullpen, Jose Abreu, 308, 15 home runs, 378 on base percentage, 444, 446 slugging. Once again, I love it, Rob. I like Abreu. I like Abreu. Let's move to the bullpen now. Let's go. What is the
I just
bullpen?
want to say something about the bullpen and pitching real quick as well. The Red Sox have a great history of getting these Japanese baseball pitchers and making them really good. Obviously, Daisuke, Hideki
Yeah.
Okajima, Junichi
Yep.
Suzawa, Koji. Obviously, Koji was a
Yes.
major leaguer before he came to Boston. But we've seen the Red Sox, they're really good at developing those kind of players. I mean, Sawamura as well. I honestly, before everybody goes, oh, Sawamura didn't even have that bad of a year last year with the
Yeah.
Red Sox. It was just that team needed to cut people. But
It's
I think it's just like they have success. They know what they're doing with them. But I'm really excited for this bullpen. I think the Red Sox, another guy who they could get that I think they could take is Kenley Jansen. I think he would be perfect.
yes. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
know.
something
Do you
talked
make him
about.
a closer? I don't know. Oh boy, big tweet by the way, guys. I off topic. Red Sox. Hunter Renfroe, former Red Sox, going to the Angels. The Angels just got Hunter
Oh,
Renfroe. So breaking news tweet. I'm sorry, got a little bit
breaking
off
news.
topic.
Hunter Renfroe.
So that
He is
surprised
a
me.
LA Angel.
That is a shocker. Sorry,
Yeah, that
that
kind
caught
of
me
throws
off
me off
guard.
guard. Oh,
So,
geez.
oh my
Now
God, Mike
my
Trout.
phone's
There's two
blowing
Mike
up.
Trouts. There's two Mike Trouts on that team now. Everybody said he looks like him, so I had to get that. But
I know that's good. I like that. I like
sorry
that.
guys, I'm getting off topic in this video. There's a lot going
That's
on.
okay.
The
We got a
stove is
lot going
hot.
on.
The stove
This
is
is
hot.
this is what we're doing. Go. Go.
So the bullpen, I really like the bullpen for the Red Sox. I think the bullpen, you need to keep Garrett Whitlock and Tanner Houck. I think as a 1-2 punch, as like even if you don't get Kenley Jansen, he's a guy that if Whitlock's your closer, or I think Houck should be the closer personally. He was 5 of 6 for saves. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got the good stuff. And I think as a setup man, Whitlock as that 7-8 bridge is good. And then you get a guy like Kenley Jansen who can pitch the 6th, the 7th, maybe even save games if you need him to. Give the other closers rest. Matt Barnes has been like at the end of the year, Matt Barnes had a great second half.
Yes.
Obviously he had the yips it looked like, but he figured it out towards the second half. If he's up and he's doing good, he could be your closer too, or a middle reliever guy. And I feel like the Red Sox, if they just add another a couple relievers, David Robertson, a guy I've always been high on. David Robertson, another guy the Red Sox could get.
Yeah.
This bullpen could shape up. If they get a guy like Kodai in the rotation, this team, if they get pitching, their lineup is always good. This could be a Red Sox team that can make a push for a playoff spot.
We forget that the Red Sox have been in. Oh man, my phone is blowing up right now. Here's the thing: we have been fortunate enough that when the Red Sox have a down year, right? Let's not forget we finished dead last in the AL East. History has told us that the next year we typically bounce back pretty well. We usually go out and we spend. We usually bring in Keller. Jansen is an interesting idea to me. Dave Robertson is also someone who's very interesting to me. Those two guys, Tyler Anderson was really high on my list as far as guys in the bullpen that I was particularly interested in. Jansen, once again, it's a business. What's his value worth, right? What's his money going to be worth? Dave Robertson, what's his money going to be worth? Two very, interesting arms. I think if you throw them in the bullpen, all of a sudden, our bullpen, which was absolutely horrendous last year, all of a sudden becomes like, what? We kind of feel okay. I believe Tanner Houck will be our closer. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my hat in the ring and say Tanner Houck is going to be our closer. I believe if we can set up some guys who can do some middle relief, late relief, 7, 8 guys, 6, 5, 6 guys if needed. All of a sudden, the Boston Red Sox bullpen is pretty darn good. There were a couple names of guys that I wasn't overly impressed with. One is going to be Corey Kluber. We're going to talk about Corey Kluber because he was linked to the Red Sox over this last week as well. 10 for 10, 4.34 ERA. What is that? A 9.8 hit per nine, 1.32 WHIP. Guys like Corey Kluber scared the bejesus out of me. And the reason is because not for nothing, but Kluber is he's on. I'm fumbling over. He's on the back end of his career. Okay, I don't want any more projects in the rotation. Red Sox front office, if you're listening, if this somehow spreads to you, if you're in your meeting tomorrow and you're on your Skype or you're on your phone calls, please know we do not want another project in the starting rotation, right? We do not want a Rich Hill. We do not want James Paxton. And I hate to say it because James Paxton, we paid a lot of money to rehab. I hope he can come and pitch and do something well for us. Corey terrifies me, dude. I'm being completely honest. He absolutely terrifies me. And when those dominoes fall and those pitchers start going, guys, I'm sorry. The Verlanders, the Rondones that we were really big on, the DeGroms, they're going to have other homes. If I'm being honest, don't get too excited. Now, if I'm completely wrong, I will fall on my sword gratefully. If one of them do land in Boston, but I really don't think. I think it's going to be Kodai. I think it's going to be some sort of bullpen arms. And yeah, please, Corey, no. How do you feel about Corey? Kluber, it doesn't do it for me. Kluber
Single-handedly lost the Tampa Bay Rays the playoffs this year. Walk-off homer.
On, dude.
He's a great. He's a guy. I mean, he won a couple Cy Youngs with the Indians, Guardians. Well, Indians at the time, now Guardians. He was really good for them. But I think that I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind it, but I'm 50-50 on it. If you can get him, imagine you get a guy like Corey Kluber healthy. A guy like Corey Kluber back to where he was, get him. I mean, the Red Sox.
They have Tommy John.
Yeah, he did have Tommy John at 21.
Oh,
so
God.
it's a little risky, but I mean, if you get him for a cheap deal, I mean, if he's elite, I mean, Verlander had Tommy John. And look at Verlander, but that's just in Verlander.
Yeah, it's true.
But imagine a guy like Chris Sale and Corey Kluber, two guys who were in 2018, they were head and head for like Cy Young. They were neck and neck, amazing.
Yeah.
The 1-2 punch of that does not sound bad if they're both healthy and they're both doing their thing. James Paxton, a guy who was really good when he was in his prime, another guy who had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
but
another guy.
It's like I am tired of having these projects. I am with you on it. I just want someone like a guy like Carlos Rodon would be great. A left-handed guy. We don't have a lefty in the rotation. There you go. There's a lefty in that rotation. Switch things up. I mean, I remember Erod when he was with us. We had a lefty. That was our only lefty. Well, we don't have any lefties in the rotation besides Chris Sale, but Chris Sale is never pitching. So it's like, how the hell do we do this? And it's really like the question mark for the Red Sox. I'm going to keep saying it. It's the pitching. The offense is good. You lose a couple guys, but you can bring a couple guys in, bring some guys back, and you're good. The pitching is what scares me with the Red Sox because they can go from having a great lineup with terrible pitching. If they sign some guys for cheap deals, I want Kodai. I really like Kodai. I think he'll be great in Boston. I think he would be a good 2-3 starter. Corey Kluber, no. I'm not sold on Corey Kluber.
I'm not
if
sold
it does
on
happen, it happens. But I mean, yay, good for us, whatever. But I mean, he'll be his third AL East team he played for. He played for the Rays last year.
Yeah, the Rays.
He threw a no-hitter with the Yankees.
He did.
A glimpse of what you could possibly see if he's healthy. Again, then he got hurt. Tommy John right after. So
John right after. And it's just like we don't want to keep putting ourselves in these positions where, listen, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, having too many arms is not necessarily a bad problem, right? Like having arms is kind of the name of the game of the era of baseball that we're in. We need arms. It's going to be interesting. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Glasnow, I don't know if he starts the season with the Rays. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing Glasnow would look mighty. I mean, just a handsome dude. You know, he would look absolutely great. in Boston. All right, we've covered Rafi, we've covered Xander as we always do. We've covered the outfield and what we think, DH with Jose Abreu. What else do we have? We have Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving. Let's talk about what we're thinking. Rob, what are you thankful for, brother?
First of all, I want to say obviously the most important thing, I'm thankful for family and friends, obviously.
Absolutely.
I'm thankful for you guys, Justin, Kevin, Noah, Craig, everybody at Grandstand, Drew.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
Benny.
And I love Benny as well. Benny,
Yeah.
I'm new to this group, but I'm learning everybody as I go.
Yeah, me
Benny's
too.
the homie too. I love Benny.
Benny's the homie.
But now it's just you guys are like my family, my baseball family, and I mean I love it. Obviously everybody at Grandstand, I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for everybody who's listening to this podcast right now. We had 50 listeners last week, and we're growing, and
we're growing.
Yeah, we have people following us. I don't know if you're listening right now, but Rob, I know his name. I don't want to mess it up. Rob, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know your name.
Bradford.
Rob Bradford. I don't know why I was saying Brafardo. I think of the other.
Bradford,
I'm sorry, Rob. I love you. I really do love you. I know
follow
your
the
name.
pod. We love you, Rob.
Bradford. You followed us, so thank you so much.
Follow
I
the
listen to you
pod.
all the
Loves
time on
it.
WEEI. I know your first name, so I got that. Us, Rob.
Yes.
So no, we gotta connect. But no, I'm thankful for everybody. I'm thankful for everybody listening to this, following Grandstand. I'm thankful for baseball being a thing, because without baseball, we wouldn't have this podcast. And I'm thankful for Kevin because he's an amazing co-host.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm absolutely thankful for obviously my friends and my family, right? My wife and my daughter are my everything. My family is my everything. I would not be able to do the things that I'm able to do without them. I'm thankful for the big man upstairs. I'm thankful to be able to be in a position to be sitting here with the Grandstand team and be able to speak on a platform and talk Sox. I mean, who has it better, right? Who has it better? As much as I may be cranky or a pessimist, I know I had a little bit of a breakdown last episode, but I was much more in tune to this episode. I'm starting to understand that patience is a virtue, and I'm excited to chow down on some food and watch some football and just absolutely be stoked to be around my loved ones. I'm truly blessed. I'm truly grateful, and I'm definitely mostly thankful. Rob, what an episode, dude!
Amazing, obviously,
dude. This time of the year, and we're cranking them out.
It's going to get very interesting as well, guys, Just so you guys know, obviously, we're creeping around that corner where the hot stove gets hot. I'm like we said, that Hunter Renfroe trade just popped up out of nowhere. And this is the 5th team he got traded from. I don't know. Maybe he's a clubhouse issue. I don't know. But no, we're getting around that time where it's going to be the winter meetings are on the way. Around the winter meetings, usually in free agency last year, there was a lot. Usually around the winter meetings, big things happen. So we'll break as much info as we can on this podcast about Red Sox news, on Grandstand production, about anything. And also when the season starts, it's just going to be the best time of the year is coming very soon. So I hope you guys are ready.
Listen, everyone at Grandstand, thank you so much. I didn't want to name everybody off or leave anybody off. To the fans, to the people who are listening to this podcast, the people who are supporting, like, subscribe, share, rate. 5-star ratings go a long way. Featured on Wisdom, available on any podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Justin's done a phenomenal job, getting the word out for us and getting us some serious,
And also right here, as you guys can see, Justin is thankful for his fam, his friends, and all the guys at GP.
Justin, I forgot, man. I'm sorry. Justin,
we love you,
thankful
Justin.
for fam, friends, and all the guys at Grandstand and all of our fans. Justin, we love you, brother. We're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much, everyone. Continue to listen. Once again, Rob said it. We will be with you. Winter meetings are coming. Winter is coming, right? Game of Thrones. Here we go. Winter is coming. We're going to be here with you as things break down. We're your guys. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time. Maybe there'll be a big news dropping. Maybe Rafi will be extended. We'll see.
Listen, if someone does break, we're going to be here with you. So thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.